And we're going to run out of runway. We'll get down alright, but we're going to go straight into the house. There's no way we can slow down. Oh no! It's through everything. There we go. Welcome to another exciting Microsoft Flight Simulator video. In this video, we are checking out the Thrustmaster TCA Sidestick Airbus Edition joystick. This was kindly given to us by Thrustmaster themselves and asked, can you take it for a spin around the block? And of course, we accepted to do that. The Sidestick is created and inspired by the Airbus family. Now, for some of you who have been watching the channel now, you've realized that I don't showcase Airbus flights too often. Well, that's just personal preference. Even though the Sidestick has been created and inspired by the Airbus family, in my opinion, it's an all-rounder joystick. You can actually swap the buttons around so you can use it with your left hand or right hand. It has a throttle component on it which does a reverse throttle, and also it has Hall effect sensors, so you get that real precision which you need when you fly in different types of aircraft in the simulator. So I thought the best way to place the TCA through its paces was to try some landing challenges in a Microsoft Flight Simulator. So we'll be trying some landing challenges Airbus style and also some GA style and see how versatile the Thrustmaster TCA Sidestick is. So let's jump into it. The Sidestick just plugs in and goes. So everything's all configured in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The only thing that I would change is the sensitivity, which I've done already for the yoke, and it's more to do with the rudder controls here. I needed to add a response curve in there, so I changed it. I think it was on like 45 to 65, and I've had to do that with every rudder control I've placed in this sim so far. So that's the only thing that you would need to change. Other than that, everything else is done for you. So the first activity we are going to do today, we're going to jump in the King Air and we're going to see how the Sidestick goes. So this is a bit of a warm-up really. You know, it is a Airbus edition, but you should be able to fly it with any type of aircraft. So we're going to use the King Air and we're going to land in Ecuador. And basically we need to approach at 130 knots, slow down to a 105, drop the flaps, gear should already be down, and we should land. We've only got a 2-knot headwind, so it should be nice and easy, and we'll see how the Sidestick performs. Okay, so the airport's right in front of us. We're going to bank to the left a little bit, and we're going to turn this into our base leg. I'm going to keep the speed under the wide arc. We'll drop some flaps in a second. Good thing is that the Sidestick has a hat switch, so you can sort of check where the airport is. I'm going to drop some flaps. There we go. I'll use the flap button there, and also I'm going to need to use some trim. There we go. I think we had to slow down to 105 knots. So there's the airport there, so we're going to make a turn now. So we can line up. There we go. Wasn't really much of a base leg. We're probably a little bit too high. Lift the nose up a little bit. I want to sink too much into the hill. But it's very, very responsive. Like, it goes where you point it to. And for a person that doesn't, do some trim here, that doesn't fly a joystick very often, even though I use a stick in the aircraft that I fly in real life, seems to be a lot of fun. So we're pointed down the runway, no problems. We got there okay. Our speed's probably about 10 knots. Too much. Puppy Light says we're too high. We'll probably have a bit of a long flare. Gotta watch out for these trees here. So we've got the speed down a little bit more. Keep in mind of the trees. And we're gonna aim. Gonna aim for the numbers here. I'm not going for the landing challenge. I'm just gonna try to land on the runway. There we go. We'll flare. Nice easy touchdown. Lead off some speed. There we go. And we'll drop the nose. That's not too bad. Did very well. Well done, Sidestick. I enjoyed that. That was fun. Let's see how it does. Because it's an Airbus edition, let's see how it goes in the Airbus. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to jump into the Airbus. And we're going to fly into Sydney. So this one's a straight-in approach. We'll consider this our second or warm-up, but it is an Airbus challenge before we get into some crosswinds antics. I believe, yep, straight-in approach. We've got an 8-knot headwind and 160 knots, and then we need slow down to a 140. So for some of you guys that watch my channel, you notice I don't fly Airbuses very often. So this will be a real challenge. I'm not familiar with aircraft. I haven't flown it in Microsoft Flight Simulator much at all. But this should be a really challenge. Alrighty, let's get flying, everybody. We'll point the nose down a little bit already. Seem to be going up. There we go. So we've got the runway in sight. I can see the pappies barely. It looks like we've got auto throttle on. I know that much. And it looks like the textures of the city still loading in. And we're sort of getting pushed off to the side a little bit. It did tell us we need to have approach speed at 140. I like how the side seat, it's not too sensitive, like it feels like you're flying a heavy aircraft. So that's what it should be doing. There we go, there's 1,000 calls. So I think I might reduce it down to, do baby steps here. We'll go to 150. And then I think I'll take control to get it to go to 140. But because I don't fly the Airbus very often, I don't know what attitude I need to keep. So I'm just following the pappy lights, but I feel like I'm a little bit low. There's not much room for margin here. So we might keep it up high. There's plenty of runway. Yeah, we've pretty much just got to fly it straight and flare it. You can't be too much wrong there. Or you can't be too many mistakes I'll make there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off auto throttle so we have control. Oh. Keep it at the same speed. I like it at 160 better than anything else. Ooh, we're getting a bit of mechanical turbulence off the buildings there. And I don't know if I'm like 100. Got the angle right here at all. 60, 50, 40, 30. I like the countdown, no? Retard. 5. Ooh, did we have a little bit of bounce? No, I don't think we had a bounce. Push the nose down. There we go. Ozflight Simmer can fly at Airbus. I'm sure all you guys will critique us in the comments, but let's get on with the next challenge and we'll add some wind. So we're going to jump straight in now to the strong wind challenges, but first what we're going to do it with a GA aircraft. We're going to do in a Cessna. We're going to go to Nanwalek. I've actually flown this one a couple of times and the crosswind's pretty strong off a small runway. So this should be a good test because we'll have to use some rudder on this one. So we've got a 20 knot crosswind at 115. So need to fly in at 85, drop down to 70, drop down to 60 for our base leg, and then we'll turn into final. So this should be really interesting. Oh, and we're into it already. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to cheat on this one and put the view up. I find that easier to do. And we're basically on a downwind to the airport. Actually, no, I won't. I'll drop that down. So I said the approach was at 85. I think I need to put some trim down, so we'll trim there. Be a little bit more. There we go. Got our speed. Beautiful part of the world this is. So we're creeping up to 90. So we're going to slow down a little bit. This is all going to happen really quickly. We're going to go to 0 to 0 really, really quickly here. Right, so there's the airport there. So we're pretty much halfway through. I'm going to start slowing down because it's meant to be at 85. We've already got 1 notch of flaps down. We're going to make a left-hand turn here. We're going to mow these trees. We're going to get really, really, really close. Now, as we can see, we're bleeding a lot of speed here with this coming in this headwind. Make sure we don't stall that wing. There we go. He's gusting now. So we're going to drop some more flaps. Get them come down now. There we go. It said we needed to approach this at 60. We've got water either side of this runway, so it's going to be quite interesting. Make sure we're all going to survive this. We're going to hug the trees as much as possible without flying into the hill. This is where it all happens. Oh, we're going to turn so we don't go into the trees. Just make sure we get down on the runway. And we're going to run out of runway. We'll get down alright, but we're going to go straight into the house. There's no way we can slow down. Oh no! It's through everything. There we go. Alright, so this is where we all lead up to. This is the one we've been practicing for. We've got the Airbus A320 in the strong winds challenge at Gibraltar. I've seen a few people try to attempt this. Some are successful, somewhat not successful, but this will really give the side stick a run for its money. So we need to basically approach 170 knots, slow down to 160 turn, and we're going to approach for landing at 150 with a 24 knot headwind. So that should make the turn quite interesting, and the headwind doesn't look like it's going exactly down the runway, so it seems to be going from left to right, but we'll see how we go. Whoa, and we're straight into it. Again, looks like the auto throttle's working for us, which is quite nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep some height and some altitude and fly over this little dockyard, and then we're going to call this our base leg, and then we'll turn on the final. We'll keep some height. Actually put some, there we go. Put some trim in there for the Airbus. What a beautiful, beautiful night it is. There we go, Oz Flight Sim. We're not sightseeing. We're here to land. Get these passengers on the ground safely. Already dropped down to 1800. And as you can hear, the auto throttle's having to work quite hard. I believe it was 150 it wants to be on approach, but we might slow down. We might slow down when we're actually on our final. Just using our hat switch here. I'm just keeping it straight. Because I believe at the end of that peak there's the runway, and I should probably start to make my turn shortly. Which I'll do now. We'll make our turn. Nice little slidey turn. And the side stick really makes you feel like you're flying in a heavy aircraft. Like it's made for this aircraft. You can feel it. We're looking for the airport. There we go. We've got pappy lights. We've got the airport in sight. We're going to slow down to 150. We are looking good, ladies and gentlemen. It's usually all downhill from here. We want to make sure we don't lose too much height. We seem to getting pushed a little bit in the wind too. Gonna use a little bit of rudder, and we seem to be sinking a little bit too. Yeah, there we go. We've sunk all the way down. We had a perfect attitude and approach in, and that's lost already.
500.
We're at 500, and we can't see the runway now, so we're going to hold this attitude for a little bit. And then I'm going to pop the nose down at not the best way to do it. There we go. Now we're too high. We're not even lined up. Alright, so auto throttle can go off.
300. 200.
Because that's a short runway, isn't it?
100. 60. 50. 40. 30. 20.
We're going to float down halfway.
Retard. 5.
Oh, we got to slow down in time. We go put some parking brakes on, see if we can slow down. There's 80. Looks like we're going to run out of some runway. Oh, are we going to make it or not? I think we are. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Make sure. Just barely made that one. Not too bad from the old side stick. Very, very, very good. That's alright. Anybody in the tower, don't mind us. And we'll find a place to go. Not sure if this is part of the linear challenge or not, but we'll make our own rules as we go along. We'll park in here. We'll use this as a taxiway. So I guess my final thoughts. I think it's always good to show preferables and see how they are is by actually putting them into action. And as we use the rudder there and the steering wheel, it's actually put them in action so you guys can see. But I think for a joystick and for the price, it's very well made. It's quite strong. It's got some weight to it. It doesn't move around on the desk. It's got all the buttons that you need. Got a hat switch here. You could use this in multi-sims. It even got a trigger if you want to go on some combat sims. I think it's pretty good. So if you're looking at getting the flight sim and you want this as your first yoke, this will do airliners for you. Even though it's Airbus. That's alright. I'm looking forward to reading the comments, but I can't even taxi the Airbus properly. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So probably we'll turn here, but definitely worth a look at. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more hardware videos, let us know in the comments below. Oh, we need to straighten up. We're going to go straight into the terminal there. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button to see more weekly content. And I'm going to leave you with one of my other favorite videos here, so why don't you check that one out, and I will see you over there.